So welcome to Andrea at Your Table. How are you both doing tonight?
Terrific.
Good. I'm so happy to be back in your home. I really appreciate you having me here. And I hear it's a little anniversary. Is that correct?
It's true. Yeah.
A little happy anniversary. I'm so very happy to cook for you tonight. It makes it very easy for you both. You can just sit and relax, have some wine, ask questions. I like to be very interactive, and it's your class, so make it fun. Okay. So tonight we're going to start with some salmon, and we've got some spinach and also some risotto. And we're going to put this together, and it's going to be beautiful. Okay. So do you both like fish?
I love fish.
Okay, because that's what you wanted. So I bought fish for you. Okay, excellent. It's a very healthy choice, as you know. Salmon is an excellent choice because it has some omega-3s, which is very healthy for you, and also your cholesterol. And I have some gorgeous looking fish that I just picked up at my local market. And you can buy this, anywhere. Here in Southern California, we have very fresh items, as you know. They also sell these at the farmer's market. You can talk to your vendors there, and they're very willing to help you out. Okay, so I just have a few pieces for all of us tonight, and make sure when you buy it, however, that it's really fresh. It smells good, it's nice and shiny, it's not dull. If you're getting a whole fish, make sure the eyes are also shiny as well. So to start, I have some pieces on the plate here, and we're going to drizzle some oil and give it some seasoning because we're going to sear these up first. I'm going to preheat my pan to a medium heat. One very important thing is to season your food. You want to make sure, if you have no issues with salt, for example, that you season. So I've got some salt on top, give it a crack of black pepper, and it also gives it a nice flavor and helps it sear as well. All right, so I'm going to take a piece of this, add a touch of oil to the pan, and we're going to sear this over about a medium-high heat. Don't put it all the way high because it'll be too hot and it'll burn your fish. Now we've already seasoned it, right? So it's going to go face down in the pan. And the reason that you're doing that is so you create that sear. The other side of it has the skin on it. Okay? And after we're done searing it, we're going to put it in the oven for a few minutes and finish it off. However, we've got smaller slices or smaller pieces of fish today, depending on what you get. You may actually not even need to put it in the oven. Okay, but you're looking for that nice sizzle that you hear. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
All right, it's popping.
So how do you know when it's done searing?
Basically about a minute or two will give a nice sear if your heat is correct. All right, and I bought these at one of our local stores here, but these are fish tongs, and they're real easy because you can just get right under it. The main trick with searing the fish is don't touch it. Don't start moving things around because you're going to break up the pieces. Let it sit, let it cook, let it sear. We're going to take it off and perhaps put it in the oven. Okay, so I think this one actually is just about done. So let's check it. And you can see how it releases really nicely when you haven't touched it. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to show you how beautiful this looks. So see how you have the nice caramelization on top? Okay, now this piece is, again, thin, so I'm actually going to leave it as is, and you want it about a medium rare. We're going to let this rest, and we're going to start our spinach, which literally takes a minute or two. Okay, so I've got this gorgeous bowl of spinach, and you want more than you're going to use, because you're going to see how quick it wilts down. So once again, I've got a pan, and I'm going to heat it up, about medium heat this time. And I'm going also to put a little bit of oil as well. And just let that heat up. And we've got our spinach here. And you can buy this right out of the bag at the store. You can get it loose if you only need a little bit. But we're going to put it in. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit more. And I'm going to put some extra in again because it's going to wilt down. So you're going to think you have a lot of spinach, but you really don't. Give it a little bit of seasoning as well. Don't forget to season your food. I think that's the main message of today's class, right? And my tongs. All right, so this is only going to take, again, probably about a minute. And we're going to use this for just some contrasting color. I like to make sure I have different colors on the plate. We've got our orange salmon, our green spinach, and we've got some risotto, which actually is more of a plain cream color, but we're going to use that underneath. So while this is cooking down, we'll let that sit for a minute. So I've already taken the liberty of making my risotto. Have any of you had risotto before?
No, I haven't.
I've had risotto, but I've never made it. It looks like a pasta.
You know, and people think that it's a pasta, but it's actually not. It's a borio rice that you can just get out of a box, which is traditional Italian rice that's basically used to make this risotto. And you know, a lot of people don't like to make risotto just because it takes a little bit of time, but I'll tell you what, it's definitely worth it. I love it, and it's such a creamy addition to a dish, or you could serve it whole. In other words, not as a side dish, for example. And I made mine today just with Parmesan cheese. It's more of a traditional. However, there's lots of variations you can do with your risotto. You can add some butternut squash if you want to make a butternut squash risotto. If you want to do asparagus, you can add asparagus. Seafood, you know, you can really put anything into it. Mushrooms is another good one. Mushrooms and cheese, excellent risotto. And it's really easy. You're using wine, chicken broth, some onions, a little bit of oil, rice, that's it. You just can't leave the stove because you will perhaps burn your risotto. So you really have to watch it while you're cooking it. Okay. Any questions about the risotto?
So the creaminess comes from?
The creaminess comes from stirring it.
Oh,
yeah, so when you're sitting there at the stove, you want to be stirring it like this. And you can leave it, you know, for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, but you want to come back and stir it. The more you stir it, the more creamy it gets. Yeah, and that's what you're really looking for. I love my risotto, really creamy, and at the end, it's nice and incorporated with all your flavors. Yeah. So now we're ready to plate. We've got our salmon piece that's been resting out. Our spinach is on the stove. We're going to grab that in just a minute. And we're going to start with the risotto actually on the plate. I'm using this mold that I picked up at one of the local cooking stores here right near us. And you can use this for a few different reasons. You can do mashed potatoes, you can do risotto that we're going to do. And it just really helps it to give it your shape or your height on your plate. Okay, so we're going to take some of our risotto. We're going to put it in here. And I like to use this at, you know, when I'm doing like a catering function, for example, I want all my plates to look the same. I just have a few molds and have some helpers. You may get a little bit messy, however, that's okay. It just makes it easier because can you imagine like trying to mold risotto or mashed potatoes if you didn't have this mold and you wanted to look a certain way? I don't think it would work too well. You could try it. Not sure.
It smells delicious.
Well, thank you. So all you do is lift it up and voila, there's your mold. Yeah, we can certainly clean up after. So there's our mold of risotto. I'm going to take some spinach that we sauteed, and look again. Can you tell? Like we barely have any left.
Barely any.
Yeah. Put this right down here, and we're going to just layer the colors. So the vibrant green, I just think it's amazing. All right, so we've got some right on top there, and just look at the contrast already that we have. Here's our piece of fish we've already seared. Set that right on top. And you want to make sure you don't have a huge piece of fish, otherwise it perhaps may fall on the side or something. So this is a perfect amount. Yes. Well, thank you. I expect you to make this next week for your wife.
Me too.
Excellent. Now these here are just some microgreens. They come in a plastic container. They're a nice garnish you can use on top of any dish. And again, just get these at your local store. And we're just going to use them on top. So grab a few. You don't really need too many. It's just for color. And that's it.
I know, it's great.
Isn't that pretty? I mean, it's almost like a glorified appetizer, if you will. If you want, you can put some sauce around it. What I do sometimes is take a lemon, give it a good squeeze on your cutting board. This is just releasing some of the flavors, okay? Cut it right in half. I think everybody loves that fresh lemon flavor. Let's just give it a little squirt, and that's your dish. What do you think, guys?
Spectacular.
All right, so are you ready to eat?
Yes.
All right, well, how about we do a toast first?